Look at part 1 for a description of the setup and all the details. Before you continue to look at this, I have replaced the notch filter for one that is centered on 13.998 MHz. And this is the Airspy Spyverter combination. And here is the signal to noise ratio, and you see it is about 3 dB below the desired degradation. And I remove the antenna signals. You can see that the baseline is at 0, as it should be. I have reduced the attenuation in front of the Perseus by 1 dB to get the correct readings on all the other radios, except for the Dual Discovery that I had to increase the attenuation by about 1 dB in front of that one. So the difference in sensitivity are there, but they are fairly small and nothing to really talk about in this situation, because I'm looking for the dynamic range. And the S-meet attenuator setting for the that was without any signals. Here is the 3 dB degradation setting, and it is 21 dB. Here is the RSP1. It varies with time a little, as you can see. The attenuator is set to 29 dB, and I switch off the strong signals from the antenna, and you can see that the signal to noise ratio is close to the 0 line. Here is the net AFEDRI. I have disconnected the other two to not get interference from them. It has been running for a while with 23 dB on the attenuator. I changed that to 21 dB now and wait for a while. And you can see that that is not okay. So I make it 22, and that's still not okay. So I select 23 dB for the net AFEDRI. Here is the Airspy Dual, this one, and I haven't changed the attenuator for the entire period that you can see here. The attenuator is set as 16 dB. The spectrum going into the radios looks like this. The span is up to 15 MHz. I will change that. But as you can see, there is not much above 15 MHz. This is the HF Plus Discovery. You can zoom a little bit and try to look at the waterfall. It looks like this. And I have had the same attenuator setting all the time here. And you can see sometimes the loss is much bigger, sometimes it's about 2 dB. It depends on the presence of, I thought, this signal, but also other stuff. As it happens, this occurred while I changed the zoom here, so I will zoom again to see whether that has some impact. It seems that was just a coincidence. So, taking the average here as 3 dB is reasonable, and the attenuator setting for this is 10 dB. And finally, here is the Perseus, and you can see it as solid ADC clip now, and that causes a big loss. But sometimes, for quite some time, the signal is quite good, but now it's saturating. So I attenuate by 1 dB, and then there is no loss. So this setting is now 1 dB. And the time is 10 minutes to 7 in the evening, and the date is 25 of September. And the medium wave is starting to coming up. You can see it here, marker. Medium waves are equally strong as the HF bands, and it will become stronger later, I think. It's now late in the night, actually 3:30 in the morning, but it's dark outside. The sun hasn't been here for a long time. This is the Airspy Spyverter combination, and here is the signal to noise, and it is with an attenuator setting of 19 dB, and I remove the antenna, so you can see things are quite normal here. And here is the RSP1, and signal to noise looks like this. And that's with an attenuator setting of 13 dB. Here is the net AFEDRI, and you can see in the waterfall that there are occasional problems. And here is the signal to noise ratio, and the attenuator is 23 dB. And here is the HF Plus Dual. It looks like this. I give it 1 more dB. Well, 1 more. 1 more. And now the AGC has cut in, so I back off 1 dB. 1 dB. 1 dB, and now it's back again. That happens at 18 dB. Here is the HF Plus Discovery. It looks like this, and the attenuator is set to 5 dB. And here is the Perseus. And I cannot get more signal from the antenna than this, and there is a very small performance loss, half a dB or maybe 1 dB, and of course that's with the attenuator set to 0. The signals going into the Perseus look like this. Medium waves are up to minus 10 dBm or so, and also at other places on the shortwave. This one 6.1 megahertz, minus 6 dB occasionally. So it's very strong signals, but the Perseus is protected by half-octave filters on the input. The time is now 1:30 in the afternoon. Here is the Airspy Spyverter, and it shows 0, and I turn on the antenna signals until I have a 3 dB degradation. So, somewhere around here. Well, 1 more dB. This is with an attenuation of 23 dB. And this is the spectrum. Nothing almost on the medium waves, but fairly strong signals at higher frequencies. Well, not so strong, minus 30 dB on 14 megahertz or 13.8. And it goes up very high occasionally, but then there is a much larger degradation, as you can see here. Here is the RSP1, and it has been running for a while, and you can see degradation goes from -1 to -4. So this is approximately, on the average, a -3 dB degradation, and the attenuator setting is for that 31 dB. Here is the AFEDRI, and you can see it is mostly at -1 dB, but with occasional events when it gets much worse. So this could be a reasonable compromise for what to set the attenuator to for a acceptable performance. And that is 16 dB. And here is the HF Plus Dual, and it looks like this. There have been occasional events of too much degradation, and we have this AGC problem. As you can see, the signal level is varying quite a lot, but this is roughly the limit, and that is 15 dB. And now I'm running the HF Plus Discovery. It looks like this. Occasional outbursts of a little bit more than 3 dB, but mostly less. The attenuator is at 9 dB. Here is the Perseus, and it isn't disturbed at all right now. The setting is 3 dB, but as you can see, suddenly it is saturated, and then it goes back to undisturbed. And it's of course when the ADC clip shines red like this performance is bad. So I back off 1 dB. And now it looks good all the time. So I write 4 into the result table. Here is the spectrum that goes into the Perseus right now. And you can see some signals reach -10 dBm. And the frequency for that is somewhere here. And that is 11.6 megahertz. And suddenly there is some blocking of the Perseus. You can hear from the loudspeaker output now. Maybe it's this one that's coming up. Here are the attenuator settings, as you have seen in this video. And some subtraction gives me the ordering, the ranking list. The Perseus is the best one. On daytime, the RSP1 has some problems, but not at night. And the Net AFEDRI, it's best in the ranking list on the daytime. Well, make your own judgment and look at the video, because all these settings, the attenuator settings, are to some extent subjective.